Well, no more public holidays in sight now until polling day, so it's full steam ahead for the campaign. Joining me now from Rockhampton, Sky News reporter Gabriella Power. She's travelling with the PM. And the Labor leader, well, he's still in the basement with COVID. So we've got our NT Bureau Chief Matt Cunningham, who's been covering the Labor leadership. And he joins me now from Darwin. Gab, we'll go to you first if I can. Prime Minister up in Townsville today, $275 million on hydrogen. Give us some of the detail.
The Prime Minister visited TEI Steelworks where he made this announcement. $70 million will go towards building a hydrogen hub in Townsville. A second one has been promised for Gladstone. Now, the Gladstone hub was funded in the budget, but this Townsville announcement is a fresh election promise, and it is in addition to the two hydrogen hubs that have already been promised in WA, another one in Darwin, and it is expected that there will be more announcements to come before election day. He was alongside Liberal candidate for Herbert Phil Thompson, who said this was a significant announcement for Townsville. It focuses on clean energy and it's set to create thousands of jobs. But the announcements aside today, Peter, Scott Morrison couldn't escape questions on national security, and he doubled down on his language that it would be a red line for Australia if China was to build a military base in the Solomon Islands. But he refused to be drawn on what action Australia would take in response to this, Peter.
Right, Matt, Penny Wong was in Darwin with you. They announced the Labor Party, their new Pacific Islands strategy. It's many things the government's already doing, but the big difference is they want to broadcast the ABC into Honiara. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I suspect it's not a good thing. And Deputy Leader Richard Marles, another shocker for him, bad China headlines. Where was he?
Well, he wasn't here in Darwin, Peter, and that was a bit of a surprise to me and some others who are in the press pack that's following the Labor team around. Of course, Anthony Albanese in isolation with COVID. Now, Richard Marles was here yesterday for Anzac Day. He held a doorstop here yesterday. I reckon it went for about 5 or 6 minutes. I was actually shocked by how quickly that particular press conference was over. He probably only took 2 or 3 questions. I was actually, doing the polite thing that you do when you're a local and standing back, letting the others have their say. There were plenty of questions I would have thought people wanted to ask him, particularly about some of these stories that Shari Markson's been reporting about his links to China. But we really didn't get an opportunity to do that yesterday. He was out of there and he was into the pub playing 2-up before anyone got a chance to ask him any of those questions. And then today he bobbed up in Geelong. So it was Penny Wong, Brendan O'Connor and Pat Conroy here in Darwin today making that announcement around that new Pacific support plan. Obviously, Labor trying to get as much leverage as it can over this deal that's been struck between China and the Solomon Islands, and again ramming home the fact that Marise Payne, the Foreign Minister, hadn't been the one to go over there to the Solomons before that deal to try and argue Australia's case. Instead, they'd sent Zed Zazelja. But there was plenty of criticism from the coalition of this plan to spend millions of dollars broadcasting the ABC into the Solomon Islands. The Prime Minister said that the Labor Party's plan was to send Q&A to Honiara, but there was obviously a strong response from Labor saying it was better that Australian voices were being heard there rather than those from the Chinese Communist Party.
We'll see what happens then. I don't think the ABC is a good idea. Matt Cunningham, Gabriella, thank you for your time.